Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, it's joining us through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. This week, best-selling author Sharon M. Draper is releasing a brand new book featuring the adventures of her beloved character, Melody. The book is called Out of My Heart. We're going to talk to Sharon not only about the response to Melody, but also what it's been like for her to share this story that really does inspire us all to be able to live our own lives, to make the most of life and our circumstances, and to make sure that we're leaving an impact on others along the way as well. Sharon, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, and you did such a beautiful intro. I don't need to say anything. That was great.
Well, look, I appreciate that. I love this book, Sharon. I'm so glad I got a chance to get an early read of it. And of course, so many people, as you even noted in the book, you know, of course, they fell in love with Melody, with Out of My Mind. What has it been like for you to see the way that this character, of all your characters, has really resonated?
I've received literally hundreds of letters from young people and adults about, I need to know more about Melody, what happened to Melody. And for 10 years, I said, no, I'm done. Sometimes a character just has to live in our hearts forever, and that's it. But since we had this time down, you know, during the pandemic, and Melody kept speaking to me louder and louder, and she said, people need to know more about where I am and what I'm doing. So that's why I wrote it.
Yeah. Sharon, do you feel like there's a lot of yourself in Melody? And I wanted to ask you, tell you why I asked that question. The thing that struck me about Melody, even in Out of My Mind, and we see it in Out of My Heart, is that she did not allow her self-imposed limitations to stop her. Do you see that in yourself as well?
I try. I'm like everybody else, and I've got lots and lots of human frailties and fears. And, you know, I know how to cry. So I think because I've had difficulties in my life and because I have learned how to cry, I can write empathetically about a character who has difficulties. Different, but still, you have to, you know, find a character that people can connect to and be empathetic with.
I also like the fact that we find Melody's journey from Out of My Mind and down to Out of My Heart of being able to literally find her voice. Talk to us about that for yourself. I mean, you have written other books as well. When did you know that storytelling was that way that you would be able to speak to the world?
I started writing as a challenge from a student who never did his homework. And when I challenged him to do his homework, he said, I'll do mine if you write something. You know, you're always making us read stuff. Why don't you write something? So he gave me an application for a writing contest, and I actually entered the contest, and I won first prize. So I had to pass him.
Love that. Well, you know, in Out of My Heart, the new book, we're able to see how Melody's navigating the world around her. One of the big things that I think is so great about her journey is that she's able to, you know, we all have heard that saying, Sharon, to dance like no one is watching. She's not afraid to beat, you know, to the sound of her own drum, sometimes literally, right, you know, even as she experiences music. What was that like for you to give her this freedom to be able to get to know herself better, but also to get to know those around her better as well?
Well, I love Melody, and kids like Melody are often ignored. And they're the kids that sit under the tree while they watch the other kids play on the playground. And I wanted her to be able to play on a playground. So I researched playgrounds for the disabled, and they exist, and they're in every park. They're starting to build more and more of them. I wanted her to be able to have friends. In the first book, she had no friends. Nobody liked her. Nobody wanted to be around her. But in this one, she finds people who like her for who she is, and she makes lifelong friends in the book, and that made me really happy.
I love the fact in chapter 27 of Out of My Heart, one of the things that she does, and again, I should say for those who have not read either Out of My Mind or Out of My Heart, the thing that Sharon does to make the story so intimate for us, it's written in first person, so you feel like you're experiencing the world as Melody. But in that chapter that I mentioned, Sharon, chapter 27 of the new book, she talks about feet. And I love the way that you phrase this. You wrote, "Since I don't walk, I hardly ever think about my feet, except to make sure I'm wearing the latest kicks." But this made me think about what feet were made for running and dancing and actually propelling the body to move ahead. I want to talk about that because I'm sure as young people are reading that, it's going to make them think about the appreciation for those who can do those things. What was it like for you to get to that point in Melody's journey where she thought about even what she couldn't do, but also what it was made for?
I had to go very, very deep into who Melody really is. I had to make her real for me in order to make her real for the readers. So I have to consider everything. Bathing, going to the bathroom, walking or not walking, connecting to somebody else, finding friendship, that kind of thing. So I had to kind of dig deep into myself to find her story. It wasn't easy.
What do you think for yourself as you've had the success you've had, Sharon? What is it that keeps you having that appreciation for this journey, do you think?
For the appreciation for this story?
Yes.
Well, I fell in love with Melody, and because I received so many requests about, okay, tell me more about this child. I need to know what she's doing, and is she okay? So I wanted to give her some happiness. I wanted to give her joy, and that's different from happiness. I wanted to give her joy. And as she sits around the fire with her friends at night, and the stars are up above, and the fireflies are twinkling, she actually finds joy, and that's what everybody needs.
Yeah, I think that's it. I also love the musical references you're able to wove into this, including "Let It Go" from Frozen. I think a song that says so much about empowerment and embracing your own power. I love this. So you mentioned, of course, during the pandemic, having that time. Sharon, what has this year been like for you now as you've contemplated the new release, but also the new normal that we're kind of living through? How has social media kind of helped you in staying connected with your readers?
I did not even know what Zoom was before all of this started. And, I now speak Zoom fluently. And, all the other platforms that exist that just were somehow created because we needed them. Nobody really used it except for maybe a business meeting or something occasionally. But it became our way of life. And that's another story, I think, is how we made this transition from one way of life to another. And I'm really, really concerned about how this past year and a half has been for children. If you're 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, how that affected you, because it was life-changing and life-altering what happened to young people during that time. So I'm really concerned about them.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's the thing. That's why we're going to have to continue to support them, and I think to give them that encouragement of what is possible and not, of course, let them lose themselves along the way. And I think that's why Melody's story will resonate with so many as you continue this new journey with Out of My Heart. Again, everyone, best-selling author Sharon M. Draper has been our guest. The new book is Out of My Heart, out this week. So make sure you guys either pre-order it or order it, depending on when you're joining us for this program. And, Sharon, how can our audience stay connected with you?
SharonDraper.com is my website. I'm there. And if I find you, I will answer.
There you go.
I can't
Sharon,
answer school emails. So.
Yeah. Right. I totally understand that. Sharon, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted. Thank you for giving me this time.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.